Have an Operation Max page on fox5atlanta.com. Where orchids are colorful and fragrant and no more difficult to care for than ordinary house pets, it turns out. House plants, not pets. Goodness gracious. Good Day's Joanne Feldman has more on the different varieties and also how to keep those blooming.
I personally love getting orchids as gifts because they last so much longer than fresh cut flowers, and I don't think I have a green thumb, and they're pretty easy to care for, right?
They actually are very easy to care for.
Okay, so you know, you've got your standard orchids, but there are many other varieties that maybe people don't know about. Take us through some of those.
Yeah, there's many to choose from. So first we have our Phalaenopsis. This is probably the most common and the easiest one to take care of. It's known as the moth orchid. They can take maybe not as much sunlight, more of a partial sun situation. So that's one that's super easy. The next one here is called a Miltonia or a Pansy orchid. This one's really neat because it does better in a cool environment that's more like 60 degrees and can take a lot of shade.
Okay.
And I think it's neat because it does look like our cool season pansy.
Sure.
So that's kind of how you can remember it. Next we have lady slipper orchids. These are actually very easy to take care of, and it's an orchid that grows in the ground in the tropics, and you can see why it's called a lady slipper because the flower actually looks like a lady slipper.
That's so neat.
And then next we have Oncidiums, and these are kind of called the fairy orchids or dancing ladies, and you can kind of see from the flowers why they're called that.
Right. Well, and that's what's so beautiful about these, because they are easy to care for, but they're very showy without requiring a lot of maintenance.
Yes.
Okay, so once we do have one and we do need to care for it, what are some things we need to be keeping in mind?
So you want to keep them inside. About 70 degrees is perfect. They can take a 10-degree temperature drop. So if your house in the winter is more like 60 degrees, that's perfect. And one thing about them that most people don't know is that 10-degree temperature difference is what triggers them to bloom. Okay. So if you can, in the fall when you're transitioning to winter, give them a 10-degree drop or put them out on your front porch for a couple of nights, and that's the real trick of getting them to rebloom.
Okay, so you're saying don't give up on them if they stop reblooming for you.
That's
There's
right.
Still hope. You just have to take the right steps.
Exactly. And then other things that I would do is I would get an orchid fertilizer, maybe a bloom mix, and do it every other time you water. So every other week, go ahead and do a fertilizer and a watering can on them. Another trick is that you want to keep them on the dry side.
Okay.
They don't like to be sopping wet.
Okay, easy enough. Now, what if you wanted to plant them in planters or with some other items?
Yeah, so you can do them in a mixed container garden, and you can leave the orchid in its pot, and once that's done, you can treat it like your other house plants and then pop in another one that's in full flower so that you can keep your mixed container garden or centerpiece going.
I love it. The easier you can make it, the better.
That's right.
All right, thanks, Kara.
Thank you.
Oh, green thumb Joanne. I love it. It's 9:48 now. If you want to get a promotion, well, it turns out it matters where you